Okay, quiet. I'm going live. Hello, guys, and welcome. So today I want to read from the book 28 Minutes to Fate, which is already on pre-order. So if you're seeing this, it's most likely that a lot of people have started buying the book and it's almost finished. Okay, so but not to worry, it's not going to be very expensive. Just try to pre-order it before Monday. Monday is 4th of March. All right, 4th of March, and you can get it for just 1.5. So on the 5th of March, um, it will start going for 3,000 naira only, and that's the PDF I'm talking about. All right, so this book is a collection of some of the most popular Igbo football slangs. You would definitely hear some of them if you go to Imo State and you see some people playing football. You definitely hear some of them use some of these slangs and what they mean. Now, I collected some of them, which made sense to me, and the scenario where we use them. I saw similar patterns in my business adventures. I saw similar patterns, and I put it into a book, and 28 of them actually. So one for each chapter. So the book contains 28 chapters of these Igbo slangs and their meaning. All right, I'll just go ahead and read. So this one is the 13th chapter. It's called Ajokunha Bukanoshingad. Ajokunha Bukanoshingad. It goes thus. In 2019, Jeremiah Giang and I decided to record and shoot my poem Omalicha in Port Harcourt. A very beautiful lady who had the face and body type I described in my poem had always told me that she would like to be in the video, even before Jeremiah Giang chose the poem as the poem we should collaborate on. I loved the plan and how everything was happening. It was perfect. On the day we were to do all these, I informed her to prepare and wait for me at Eden Lounge so that when we would pass there, we'll pick her and drive to the location which was nearby. She insisted that she would like to be at a friend's salon close to Eden. I didn't know where the salon was, but she insisted that I call her when we were close to Eden. Sadly, the network went out. I couldn't reach her. We went to the location, got on Friday, and other people were there already waiting. She was to act as Omalicha's maid. The evening turned to night, and we hadn't commenced shooting. People kept watching me and waiting as I kept trying the model's number, but the network service was still out. When Jerry noticed what was going on, he asked if Godson Friday was a man or if she was so ugly that she can't pass as Omaricha. Quite frankly, God's own Friday was not only prettier than the other model, but she too has been a model with years of experience. Jerry told me to learn how to appreciate people who come out to support me, especially when I am just starting out. Don't focus on the quality persons you want to work with and end up losing people you should grow up with. I remember a young artist who featured a top artist who has seen better years and paid her $2,500 for the feature, and at the end didn't get up to 2,000 streams across all platforms. The lady he featured didn't even post the link more than once. I felt really bad for him. Meanwhile, 4 months later, a young struggling artist who was his friend at the time and who would have done the same collaborations with him for free blew up all over. People were paying him $7,000 for features. Imagine if he had done the collaboration with him instead. Identifying people who are in your level and appreciating those who are always there for you as team members is the best flex. Every time I remember the match against Ndegu All Stars, all that fills my mind is the story of Joshua Caleb and the other 10 folks sent to spy Jericho. How the other 10 were able to see with the eyes of the citizens of Jericho and how exactly they looked like grasshoppers still amazes me. In 2013, in 2013, I had left my football club in the care of Aham, my assistant coach, and went to settle in Port Harcourt because there was more opportunity there for my poetry than I was getting in Owerri. Besides, my parents were also living there, and Auntie Lucy had challenged me to prove that I had given them that forgiving them by moving to stay with them a bit before paying for my space. 2 weeks later, he called and told me how one of the junior team players had hit his head with a plank and how another had thrown a nylon of poop when he was walking past their house on his face. I was so angry, I traveled back to Owerri to find out what happened. At the first training on a Friday, Aham called and told me he had traveled and would be back on Saturday evening. So I just had to be there early. Ifeanyi, my 13 years old left-footed winger, who hardly spoke unless he is questioned directly, was the first to attend training. I inquired from him what happened, and he told me that no player is happy with Aham. True. He said Aham did not only contract a match with a club made up of village footballers who weren't really a football club, but that they were all overaged players. He said that when they got there, the players they saw looked like antagonists in American action movies. That some were tying scarves or bandanas on their heads, wearing slippers for boots, jackets for jerseys, and he said their chests were like car engines. Their laps were as large as his father's pillow, and that they didn't need shin guards or anklets because Ajoko Bukano shin guard, meaning that the hair on their shins can be plaited into a shin guard. That evening, I nearly died laughing. Now, what infuriated the junior team players was that they were all ready to play the match regardless. If I was there, I would have done what we did against Thai FC when he used his young Methuselahs to come play against our junior team. I would have used my senior team players who were small statured to play the match. But Aham didn't do that. No, he didn't even quit the match. And no, he didn't play with the junior team. According to Ifeanyi, Aham went to the road and right in front of our junior team players picked motorbike operators, masons, and just anyone who's got big chest and looked ras. He collected the jerseys from my junior team and gave it to these strangers. And after the match, he forced Olu to take the dirty jerseys home to wash them. He didn't even add the junior team players later in the game. These strangers started and ended the game, and sadly, they still lost 3-1, handling us our first ever defeat as a club in just 2 weeks of my absence. My junior team players stopped training, and when he kept inquiring from their relatives why they refused to train again, Olu overheard this and ambushed him and broke his head. Later, Aham said in hindsight he regretted trusting these big boys who claimed they can beat them instead of just trusting the players he already had. According to him, he had called the senior team to show up and defend the club's victories, but they all said they can't play for him, that he knows nothing about football. So he was under pressure to play and still not lose. He said to me that there are still positives anyways, that if we consider this whole scenario carefully, we'll notice that it isn't Catalan stars that played. I wasn't the one that coached them and that it wasn't in our field, so we might as well pretend that the team of motorcyclists and masons used our jerseys to play against Ndegu All-Stars. Olu and the other player were punished severely, but we all learned our lessons. Here are lessons we learned. 1. Understanding competitors. Just as Aham failed to understand the true nature of the opposing team in the football match, similarly in business, understanding the market and competitors is crucial before making strategic moves. Don't invest in mere assumptions. Do your due diligence and be like me, the Onyoko Meta, who would always go and spy a team before we play the match. This was the beginning of Aham's problem. It's better not to do the business than to dabble into it uninformed, slightly informed, or misinformed. Adapting to challenges. Bob Marley said, some people are so broke that all they have is money. In business, the ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances is crucial for long-term success, that is. Your ability to adapt is dependent on the spectrum of your resources, and resources here isn't only cash or material assets, but even people. In business, you are truly wealthy if you have what I term human options. Sometimes the best way to adapt is to build relationships first before expanding or even launching the business. Just like Aham, who didn't train and co-opt the senior team, felt alone with the junior team. A lot of businesses fail because the human resources are not well trained to handle certain business terrains. This is where outsourcing will come handy. 3, inside out. It is better to fail as an authentic team than try to cheat and still fail as a cheat. Even if I was the one who did that, I'm not sure I would still have the respect of the players. Talk more of an Aham, who some of the players were yet to trust. As a business, you will have to grow from inside out, because truly, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Inside out is what real authenticity is. If you do your due diligence and research properly, if you grow organically and have human options, and if you're authentic so much so that you prefer to lose authentically than lose as a cheat, you'll be able to keep your house together and possibly beat giants who have been reported as Azio Kuhabu Kwashingad. And that's the end of chapter 13. So if you are interested in getting a copy, I'm going to drop a link with which you can get it in the first comment of this post. So look out for it. Cheers.